Welcome to the Carlton Alexander Experience. I'm your master barber for today, and I will be doing a drop fade on my client. And I'm going to go through the steps. I'm going to show you how to achieve the drop fade. Now, here are all my tools. Yes, I make sure that they're sterilized, they're clean and ready for each client. And let's get into it. First, I'm going to be using my Barber Gold FX trimmers to set in my first guideline, which is balding out the hair at the bottom of my fade. Just making sure that I arch my angle because this is a drop fade. So I'm gonna start off high, go around the ears, and then once I get towards the back, I'm gonna drop it down so that I can create that kind of a fade for this kind of a haircut. So really bald it out, make sure that it's real nice and clean. Make sure that you don't forget any hair at the bottom of that fade. The cleaner, the better. You can also see here that I'm not going all the way to the edge. I'm leaving just a little bit of hair in the front of that guideline. I'm not balding it completely out. And you'll see why once I do the lineup. Now here, I put on the 1.5 guard, and I'm gonna debulk the hair at the top. The 1.5 guard is gonna debulk the hair, but keep it at a dark wavelength. And that's what my client wanted. So the 1.5 is gonna achieve that look. So I'm just smoothing it down and debulking with the 1.5. It's very important to pay attention to the crown of the head and how the hair grows and what pattern it grows. You want to go in a direction that complements that pattern and you don't want to go against. Now I'm using the no guard open for my next guideline. Yes, no guard open. And as you can see, I'm making that second guideline at an arched angle similar to my first guideline. So you want to arch it and make it consistent with your first guideline. That's what makes that fade really come together. So that's a no guard open. I even knock down the sideburns into that fade as well. When setting your guidelines, make sure that they're consistent on both sides. You want perfect symmetry, or as perfect as you can get it. And when I'm setting my guidelines, I judge it off the size of my client's head and the size of the guideline I want to create. So sometimes I'll do 1 finger width guidelines, or I would do the width of 2 fingers in the guidelines. So it just depends on the size of my client's head and the kind of fade that I'm trying to achieve. Making sure that everything is symmetrical when you're creating your guidelines is the key to perfecting your fade. So make sure that everything with your guidelines is symmetrical. The last key step about this guideline, the no guard open, make sure you go over it several times because you want to make sure that you clean off all the hair, everything is even, and that this part of the fade is super clean. This is very important, very important. So go over it as many times as necessary. Now I'm using my 1 guard and I'm gonna open it. 1 guard open, and I'm going up for my third guideline. Making sure I flick the wrist so that I can reduce the hair, but I'm creating the fade and the blend. Creating the perfect blend and that clean fade, it takes time. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. Sometimes when you have clients, you have to work through that fade. Trust your instincts, trust your training, trust your guidelines that you set, and keep working that fade. Use all your tools in your arsenal to create the fade that you want. And yes, if you don't give up, if you keep working on that fade and you trust your training, you'll be successful in creating a really, really dope fade and a really, really nice haircut. Now I'm switching to the Andes Master, and I have the zero guard on, and I'm starting with it open, but I'm gonna play with the levers and go halfway to close. So I'm just playing with the levers with the Andes Master with the zero guard on there. And earlier, I don't know if I mentioned, I was using the Wall Magic Clip. That was the name of the clipper that I was using earlier, the Wall Magic Clip. But right now, working with the Andes Masters. With this zero guard and playing with the lever, I'm taking out that middle line. I'm taking out that middle line or blending out that middle line. So that's what I'm attacking all the way around the head. You can see 3 levels into the fade. And right now I'm taking out the middle level, just working it through and making sure that I blend that middle level out. Now I have my no guard open. Well, I'm actually playing with the levers, so I'm going from open to mid to close. Just kind of cleaning up that middle line still, but I'm going from open to mid to close. And as you can see, the fade is starting to come together slowly but surely. Just keep working at it until it looks good to your eyes. Detail work is the key. Detail work. It takes a little bit of time, but make sure you do your detail work. Now I got the lever closed and I'm attacking that bottom line. I'm attacking the bottom line, taking it out with the clipper all the way closed. Just flicking, starting below the line and flicking up to the line to make sure that I get a nice blend and just break that line. You see it all coming together, just taking out that bottom line. Again, I cannot stress enough, the detail work is key. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes a lot of patience. But if you do the detail work, your haircuts will be just that much more cleaner. Trust me. Now here I'm using Tresemme Extra Hold Hairspray, and I use the neck strip to spray it on, and I'm applying it to the line. And what that does, it holds the hair in place so that when I'm ready to line it up, it's extra crispy and won't move. It'll be ready to be cut. And as you can see, I'm on the sides, creating that C cup on the lineup, or that Chicago C, as some may call it. And now I'm doing the vertical bars. When it comes to a good lineup, you want to accentuate on what is already there. You don't want to take too much hair off, and you definitely don't want to push anyone's line back. So to keep the integrity of someone's line, you want to accent or accentuate on what is already there. Make it extra crispy, but keeping what they naturally have there and just cleaning up the excess. When I'm using my trimmers, I use my trimmers like a pencil. I don't necessarily always use them like a trimmer. I use either the back corner of the blade or the front corner of the blade to kind of draw the lines I need to draw in. It just makes for a crispier line for me. I know different barbers do differently, and that's fine. But yeah, I like to use my trimmers like a pencil. It gives me the results that I like. Now I know beards are tricky, and it takes time to master cutting in a clean, crisp beard. But just keep practicing, keep working at it, and you'll get it, I promise. Don't give up, but just keep working at it. When it comes to your trimmers, you want them sharp, and you want them to be able to create a crispy line. But you also want your trimmers to be comfortable for your client. You don't want your trimmers so sharp that it irritates your client or cause abrasions or redness to the skin. So again, as a barber, you want your tools to be calibrated correctly, zero gapped and sharp, but not too sharp where it irritates your client. All right, now we're doing the razor work. When it comes to using the straight razor, always pull the skin so you can create a flat surface, and take your time. This is not a race. Take your time, breathe, and make your strokes consistent and clean. You don't want to be at an angle that irritates or cuts the skin. You want to be at a smooth angle, and pulling the skin is so important. I can't stress that enough. So take your time and make sure that you pull the skin. Now this step is like a finisher. It's called the freehand trim. So you take the clipper and you just kind of glide on the top of the hair, especially if you have a waver, and you're getting all the loose hairs that's sticking up that maybe the clipper with the guard couldn't get. But now without the guard, you can just skim it on off. Now we're finna get into some beard work. So I take my pick, make sure I comb everything out and detangle if I need to, the curls and whatever else, and just bring that beard out. And now I'm using my shears to just get any loose hairs. So my client, he wanted to keep the fullness of his beard. He didn't really want to take anything off. So with the shears, I'm just using it to just grab those loose hairs. So anything wild or sticking out, I can make it more consistent and more professional looking. So just using my shears to do that. Here is the finished results of the cut. It's clean, the line is extra crisp, the fade is super clean, the beard is clean, and my client is pleased. And that's what's most important. Making sure that your clients are pleased with your results. And yes, I must mention, this is a all natural cut. No enhancements, no sprays, no fiber, no pencil. This is an all natural cut. Yes, I use enhancements at times for certain clients, but I just wanted to mention for this particular cut, no enhancements, all natural. This is luxury grooming at its finest, so I love using a hot towel at the end of every cut. It lets my clients feel clean and smooth. I get the loose hairs off, and any sticky feeling or anything, I like to clean all of that off. So my clients, not only do they get a fresh cut, but they feel clean getting up out the chair. So when you go to your barber, make sure that you're getting a hot towel service. Luxury. Let's go. Now right here is my secret sauce. I'll take an astringent like an alcohol or sea breeze, and I'll mix it with like a Paco Rabanne 1 million or Dior Sauvage or even a Bond No. 9 Indigo or Creed Aventus. Just whatever I'm feeling that smells good. And this is the cut, man. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'm out.